Good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. Karnesh Halchran, PG Anesthesia Resident, Department of Anesthesia and Critical Care, GGS Medical College and Hospital. Today, I am presenting a case report on ultrasound guided peripheral nerve blocks for lower limb surgery in a severely cardiovascular compromised patient with moderators as Dr. Haramrit Kaur, Dr. Gurpreet Singh, and Dr. Gaganvi. The patients with emergency lower limb surgery due to poor circulation usually present with cellulitis, sepsis, multi-organ dysfunction, and comorbid conditions. Neuraxial blocks are usually precluded because of coexisting coagulopathy, systemic infection, and hemodynamic stability. General anesthesia can itself be catastrophic due to profound hypotension and myocardial depression at induction. These patients almost always required mechanical ventilation postoperatively for tachypnea and respiratory compensation. Use of peripheral nerve blocks for lower limb surgeries are not very common, but actually have advantage of cardiovascular stability and pain relief intraoperatively and postoperatively, especially in the very sick patients. Here we are reporting a case posted for emergent lower limb surgery that was successfully carried out under ultrasound guided peripheral nerve blocks. Case report. A 72-year-old female patient with cellulitis of right lower limb with septicemia for the past 1 week following incision and drainage at a private hospital after complaints of progressive pain and swelling over the right lower limb. She is having known case of hypertension and is on tap amlodipine 5 mg as well as atenolol 50 mg once a day. Patient had cough with expectoration since 1 week. Her vitals are as follows: pulse rate 105 per minute and irregular, BP 150 by 90 mmHg, saturation per oxygen 91% on oxygen face mask at 6 liter per minute, temperature 101 degree Fahrenheit, and chest on auscultation bilateral basal crypts present with respiratory rate at 20 per minute. Her investigations are as follows: hemoglobin 8.4 gram percentage, TLC 23,500, and PTINR 81.2% and INR 1.3. Chest X-ray is suggestive of bilateral basal haziness and cardiomegaly. Echocardiography was done in view of ECG changes and the findings are as follows: right atrium and right ventricular dilated, mild MR, normal left ventricular size and systolic left ventricular function, severe TR and severe PAH, for which the patient was advised tablet tadalafil 20 mg once a day and tab metoprolol extended release 25 mg once a day. Anesthetic management. Limb saving syn grafting surgery was planned under ultrasound guided combined femoral and sciatic nerve blocks. In the operating room, standard monitoring was applied. Supplemental oxygen through face mask was given at 6 liter per minute. Titrated dose of 50 mics fentanyl was given for mild sedation to make the patient comfortable during the procedure. Safe dose of ropivacaine was calculated at 2.5 mg per kg and administered accordingly. All other necessary preparations for ultrasound peripheral nerve blocks were taken into account. Sciatic nerve block. The patient was placed in lateral decubitus position with operative side upward and exposed. Sciatic nerve was located using ultrasound scan and then the nerve was blocked by subgluteal approach after taking all aseptic measures and local anesthetic skin infiltration. BD needle 23 gauge 100 mm needle was inserted and guided by hydrodissection. Following negative aspiration for blood, total local anesthetic volume ropivacaine 0.5% 10 ml and lignocaine with ADR 1% 10 ml was given above and below the nerve. Lignocaine was administered to enhance the speed of block. Femoral nerve block. Patient was then placed in supine position. Preliminary scan was done at inguinal ligament to locate the nerve, artery and vein. After taking aseptic measures, femoral nerve was blocked after administering total local anesthetic volume, ropivacaine 0.5% 10 ml and lignocaine 1% with ADR 10 ml around the nerve using the same needle. After the procedure, patient was assessed for sensory and motor blockade every 5 minutes till the patient was declared ready for surgery. The patient was successfully managed with the peripheral nerve blocks and she remained hemodynamically stable and pain-free during surgery. Discussion. Cardiac dysfunction and hemodynamic instability are the consequences of severe sepsis and may consist of cardiac contractility impairment, reduced cardiac index, and reduced ejection fraction. Anesthetic drugs usually reduce myocardial contractility and induce vasodilation by direct action on heart and vasculature. They generally worsen the condition of patient with sepsis. Neuraxial anesthesia, including spinal and epidural, may lead to hypotension due to sympathetic blockade and deteriorate the already compromised cardiovascular function that will be difficult to reverse. Ultrasound peripheral nerve block is a safe alternative for such patients. The use of ultrasonography may facilitate more rapid block onset and prolonged block duration, with the added advantages of a decrease in drug dosage and reduction in the incidence of local anesthetic toxicity. Lower volumes of drug can be used when using this technique and complications are rare. We used ropivacaine for the block as it is less cardiotoxic and onset of action is faster than bupivacaine. Patient had a postoperative pain relief of about 7 hours. Conclusion. Ultrasound guided peripheral nerve blocks can be used for lower limb surgeries without any major complications and with no drug toxicity. It should be kept as one of the options in critically ill patients where both general anesthesia and central coaxial block carries a high risk of mortality. It is having minimum hemodynamic instability and can be used in patients with valvular cardiac diseases and other cardiac elements with fixed cardiac output, diabetic, and even patients on anticoagulants. These are my references. Thank you, everyone.